I'm going to hand over to Colette Bratton from Marketing Angel. Along the same lines of it's summer, it's holidays, but this is marketing when you're not here. So how do you keep your business in the forefront of people's minds when actually you're on holiday, hopefully somewhere sunny and not rainy? So Colette, over to you.
I'm just picturing that somewhere sunny now. That would be really nice. So thanks, Tracy. Yes, if you're trying to grow a business, marketing your business, unfortunately, never stops. And as we know, marketing a company on top of actually running a company, well, that just makes busy business people even busier. So then when you add in things like school holidays and the extra pressure that those add to business owners to try to keep children entertained, again, while still trying to run a business. And don't forget that as business people, we also need to take time to rest and actually spend time away from the office. And it just results in there being an awful lot of work to fit in even less time than normal. So after everything we've talked about already today, it really is no wonder that summer can be so stressful. So I've got some tips that will hopefully help you manage these busy times. The first one being to pre-plan as much as possible. Now, I appreciate that for Si or anybody else going on holiday next week, this tip might be too late for this summer holidays, but it might still be very helpful for you in the future. So here's what I do. At the start of every year, I get one of those year to view calendars and I plot out all the things that I know are going to happen, both personally and on the business side of things. So, for example, I'll put in there any holidays that I might be taking, all the school holidays when the kids are off. I put in things like celebratory occasions, Christmas, Easter, Halloween, because, you know, that they do affect things. But I also work with clients who are affected by those. So, you know, they might need to start promoting things in the run up to there or get special stock in if you run that kind of business. In previous marketing roles, when Christmas has been a huge selling time, I've been planning Christmas in July. So you can kind of see why I've got into the habit of planning everything quite so early. And particular times of year are also extremely useful to take a note of. It doesn't tend to affect what I do in marketing, but it does affect clients. You know, if you were running a small local shop, then stocking more ice creams in summertime, assuming we get better weather than today, would be useful. So it's all about just pre-planning and really thinking about your marketing and what you need to concentrate on. It's also useful to plan in quiet and busy times in your business, because that way you know how much marketing activity is needed in order to try to bring more people in to stack up the quiet times, or when maybe you can kind of put the marketing just on to kind of cruise, because you know that naturally this is a busy time of year for you anyway. So having looked at the business as a whole, you then need to start to break that down into key marketing tasks. So you may have newsletters that you send out either weekly or quarterly. You might have blogs that you add to your website maybe once a week or once a month. If you do podcasts, it may be that you've got those to factor in because people are used to listening to them every week or every month. Emails you might need to send out, and obviously your social media, however you are normally putting that out on what regularity, because what you don't want to happen is that you've got the momentum going and then the holidays come along and everything stops and all your followers are wondering where you've gone, and then you come back and go, I've had a great holiday, and it all starts up again, because you don't want to lose that momentum. So once you've got all that down, and it does sound like a big thing, but trust me, once you're in the mode of doing it, it really is quite quick to do. Once you've got the year planned out, maybe try to take a look at that every quarter just to see where you are, see if anything needs changing. And the great thing is, once you've done it once, mostly, unless you change business type dramatically, that plan then just needs to be updated the next year, because everything pretty much should be in a similar kind of place. So once you've got the big picture, you can now start to break tasks down into what needs to be done each month. So you may need to brief suppliers about a new launch. You might need to write new social media posts about the next things that you're going to be promoting in your business. You may need to update your website with relevant products or services or extra information. So once you then know what needs to be done, you can work out what you've got to do, what time you've got to do it, and whether you can actually delegate any of those tasks. And if you can't delegate all of them, then you need to work out what your priorities are, because if you've got too much on your list and too little time, there's no way around it. You've just got to have a look at prioritizing. There are some great software, some great apps out there that can really help you with project management and task delegation. Tracy and Simon have demonstrated and talked about some of these today with the to-do facility. In previous last resort supports, we've talked about Planner. So if you need any help on any of these, you know, these sessions are great. Go to Maximity's YouTube channel and have a look at some of the past episodes. There's all the information in there to help you plan and project manage as best as possible. Now, if you haven't got staff in your business and you can't do that lovely thing that Simon showed before in terms of delegating to different people, then now might be a good time to have a look at who you can possibly delegate to. There are people out there who run businesses as VAs who can help people if you don't actually employ staff. So I've got a fantastic VA now who really helps me with my admin, and it just makes holiday times so much easier, because most things can be done in advance and just sent out near the time. So if you can get organised and try to set up as much as possible, then you can either schedule it for automation or, you know, try to do most of the work. So all you've really got to do nearer the time is just have a final quick read through before pressing go. Now, with social media, I suggest writing the posts in advance if you know you're going to be away, and using a scheduler to send them out. Now, there are a number of different social media schedulers. The best thing to do is to have a play with some of them and find the one that works best for you. But if you've got any queries, read this, either ask in the Q&A or drop as a message through Maximity's Facebook page, and we can have a look at that or help you with that, because scheduling your social media just makes it nice and easy. Now, the one thing you can't schedule is responses to any questions you may get from the social media. And this is where either delegating that kind of task to staff, can you keep an eye on the social media pages, answer anybody's questions, delegate to a VA if you don't have staff, or very worst case, try and set aside maybe 10 minutes while you are away just to go in and just to respond, because you'll know yourself, if you post a question and you don't get a response, it doesn't sit very nicely. So find a way to work it best. If it cannot be you, so you can actually switch off, that's great. If there's no other way around it and it's got to be you, then at least just schedule a bit of time in your holiday so you can tick it off, get it done, and still turn your brain back into holiday mode. The other tip I've got is about bite-sized chunks, and it really helps me when the kids are off just to try to look at a task and break it down into smaller portions. The reason being, I can then do those smaller portions in different places. So the thing is, you know, with phones and iPads these days, we have the technology to do so much more while we're out and about and on the move. So most of the apps that are on my PC now are probably also on my phone. I can create marketing images, I can schedule social media, I can write presentations, and I can do my accounts all on my phone. It's absolutely fantastic. Now, for some tasks, it's obviously imperative that I'm in the office. Client meetings, calls, obviously, I wouldn't be wanting to do those anywhere I could easily get disturbed. But for other tasks, it is possible to do them in other places. If I've got a report to read, it may be that I can digest that, either print it out or just read it on my phone whilst I'm sat next to the kids off the sofa while they're binge watching cartoons. It's amazing how adaptable you can be when you realise that instead of just sitting scrolling through Facebook while the kids are quiet, that you could actually be crossing something off your to-do list. So, for example, this presentation I wrote using the notes function on my phone while sat in the garden while the kids played. I can still get lots done during the school holidays if I break the tasks down. And it does mean that when I do get a chance to escape to the office, my time in there is so much more productive because I've already done a lot of the thinking and the planning already. The final point is really to look at the positive. Now, I always try to look for the silver lining with every situation. Running a business in a run up to a holiday or when the kids are off school is no doubt hard work, but being able to plan early, schedule, automate, delegate and or outsource can really help the stress during busy times. And maybe, just maybe, even allow us to enjoy those times a little bit more, because even busy business owners need to switch off sometimes. And the beauty of this, the more you do it, the more you hone the process, the more efficient you make yourself and your team and using technology, the more efficient your business becomes and the more productive you and your team become. So I can't stress enough, take a look at your processes, spend that bit of time up front to have a look what needs to be done. If you can plan it out early, you can schedule it, you can automate it, or you can delegate it, you can outsource it, and you don't just have to do it before you're going on holiday. You could do that all the time, not just at busy times, and that will really help your business. And then finally, just don't forget, if you are working funny hours during the holidays, keep people informed so that they know you are going to get back to them. It may just not be during the traditional 9 to 5. But otherwise, if you are off on holiday, once you've done all your pre-planning, it will enable you to confidently put on your out of office and go and have fun. I hope that helps.
Thank you so much for that. Again, another session packed full of advice and really good tips. So thank you. And I like that you ended on the put your out of office on, because that gives me a lovely lead into a couple of things that you can do. So obviously, do put your out of office assistant on your emails so that people know that you're not going to be answering their messages. But also, I don't know whether everybody knows, but you can delay the sending of emails as well. So when you do a reply to somebody, if you don't want that email to go at that time, you want to schedule it for some point in the future, you can go to the options ribbon and you can delay the delivery so that people don't think that you're still working when you're on holiday. You can delay it for when you go back, or so you can get it prepared, but you don't have to send it out at that point in time. Another couple of other tips as well. Most people use mobile apps for emails and for tasks and things like that. So the To-Do app sits on your mobile phone as well as it's a desktop app. So I use that quite a lot. I don't know about you, but sometimes when I go to bed, all the things that I should have done that I'd forgotten about during the day come back into my head and stop me going to sleep. So rather than getting a book out and writing down a list of all the things that I should have done, I get my phone and I put a line in my To-Do app, and I can flag it in the same way that you can on the desktop app so that it can remind me on a specific day at a specific time that I need to get that task done. And it takes just such a lot of weight off my mind before I go to sleep. And then finally, on that point, don't forget when you set your out of office for your emails to record a different message on your phone to say that you're not at work. And then when you come back, and I'm guilty of doing this, don't forget to take your holiday message off your phone and put your normal message back in place, because you may wonder why it's a little bit quiet and people aren't leaving messages for you. It's normally, in my case, because they think I'm still on holiday. So some great tips all round there.